are present. So in effect, there is nothing like a past. All that past is in the now. I'm living my life with all my past life residue. It's all in my present? No. It's not in my past. I can go back to my past life only because it exists in the present. Otherwise, I can't go back to it. I cannot go back to a past life which is closed and complete and resolved. I will not be able to go to that. I will only be able to go to that past life which even today has an impact. I am not aware of it, but it has an impact. There is nothing like a past. Everything is in the now. And my future, my probable future, exists in my present. Correct or not? That is why I can effect a change in my life script for my future. Otherwise I can't. When I do a future progression, what am I trying to do? Correction. I'm going to change that. I'm not going to just move to that future. Because the future is also uncertain. I can change my script. So everything exists in the now. Okay, everything is working simultaneously. That is why we were able to go back to another dimension. Because it exists in the now. You cannot go back to a dimension that does not exist in the now in your consciousness. Because the life of a parent and the qualities of that life are not yet being experienced. So she was able to go back to that dimension. Okay, so everything works simultaneously. And the fourth and the most beautiful principle is we create our own reality. What we focus on is real for us. So Seth said, we don't create some of our reality, not most of us, not most of it, but all of it. Everything that we are experiencing is being created by us, not by anybody else, okay, but by us. So what is human nature? Rigid, limited, conditional, dissatisfied, postponing, kal kar lenge. Human nature is like that. But what do we have within us? That's why we are all here, divine nature. Correct? Caring, kind, compassionate, immediate. Kar sakte, abhi. Yeah? So this is our nature. We have all accessed this divinity in us. So we are here. We have understood that human nature is limited. It is rational, logical, practical, stupid. Yeah? But the divinity in us is limitless. Once we experience that, we want others to experience it. That is why we are getting trained. We want to do something. We want others to feel the same thing. So I'm sure all of you know, it's like peeling the onion. I love the feather, the peacock feather, because it embodies the koshas. Isn't it? See how many colors are there in the peacock's feather? Every kosha is part of this peacock feather. That is why Krishna wore the feather. Oh. Isn't it? Yes. Everything that Krishna embodied said things about the koshas. So what are the koshas? Annamaya kosha? Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Vijnanmaya kosha and Anandamaya kosha. See the layers in the peacock feather? They're all there. So the one who transcends this is the king. So let's look at the... do you know that the planet Earth has gone through many shifts? Correct? Every time the shift has taken place, there has been destruction. The ice age, subsequent to which many ages. Every time there has been a planetary shift, there has been destruction. But this time is the only time when we are going to be shifting with our physical bodies. There is not going to be any destruction now. We are going to be shifting with our bodies. But to raise our vibration, we are going to have to meditate. Nowhere in history or in the history of civilizations, meditation and hypnosis and past life therapy is more relevant than today. Because today, we have to teach human beings to raise their frequency. And meditation and past life is one way of raising frequency, of allowing residue that we have carried to fall, a karmic baggage to fall with understanding and acceptance and gratefulness, and we can shift. As we raise our own vibrational frequency, we will be able to move in this shift. So nowhere today, if you look at the various civilizations that have occurred, today is a time when we will be moving into another dimension with our bodies. So we are going to have to create that sukshmaness, that subtleness in our thoughts, in our feelings, in our emotions. We'll have to create love and compassion like never before. That is the most beautiful part of it. Now, all our physical body is detached from our other bodies. That is why we have problems. We are not feeling one, correct? When our physical body and these bodies will become holistic and one, we will not feel detached. We will feel whole and one. They say our other bodies are connected to our physical body through our third eye. Our navel cord has a silver cord, so does our third eye have a cord. That is why today, than never before, we are concentrating here. Because this cord has to open now. This cord is open. But this cord is not open. When this cord, through meditation, begins to open, which is connecting through our other 6 bodies, we will be able to become clairvoyant. See the future so clear as it has never been seen before. Travel, telepathy, telekinesis, transcendence begins with this. So we have to work on this cord. That is the important part today. So let's just go through quickly the physical body before we take a break. This is all familiar to you. Physical body is solid?
Yes.
Correct? It has the lowest level of vibration. It's dense. Like I showed you that picture of solids in a jar. It's a solid body. The vibrations are very dense. And lower and slowest to change is our physical body. Our thoughts keep changing. Our emotions keep changing. Our feelings keep changing. But our body changes very slowly. You know, doctors, if somebody has cancer and goes to a doctor, the patient will say, I was fine last 6 months, man, nothing was wrong with my body. The doctor said, no, but the cancer has been growing for 6 months. So she said, I did a sonography, I did CAT scan, kuch bhi nahi aaya usme to. Where was that cancer growing?
In the mind.
In the sukshma bodies. Yes. In the thought body, in the manamaya kosha. It was growing there. My thoughts were getting formed. Negative, anger, hurt. I didn't do anything about it. I let it form. Then what happened? It enters the physical body. The physical body is the last and the slowest to change. So the change that came in the physical body as cancer came slowly. You don't even notice it. That is why, remember, when somebody is having depression, anxiety, fear, their Manamaya Kosha is active. Deal with that quickly before it enters the body. There's a beautiful book when I talk about cancer. I'm told that there are some doctors here in our congregation. Yeah. So there is a wonderful book by Lawrence Lesha. Have you heard of him? Lawrence Lesha, Lesha. He's a doctor who works in Brazil. Do you know that Brazil is the only place in the world which has spiritual hospitals? Isn't it amazing? Yes. And Lesha has been working with cancer-afflicted patients for a very, very long time. I can't get the book's name. I know the author, so you can definitely Google and find about it. And there's a beautiful case in that book which has stayed in my mind, and I'd like to share it with you. Dr. Shah used to be working with patients, and in the hospital one kind of lady was brought, and she had skin cancer. It is called kind of, I forget the name, melanoma, but skin melanoma. So, yeah, but on skin cancer. So he went and visited her, and he said, "So, ma'am, you know." So she said, "Anyway, I just have a few weeks to live because it's very difficult to treat, and it seems to be fatal, you know." So he started talking to her, and his purpose was to save her. So he started chatting with her. While he was talking to her, she spoke about her life and how many children. She had 4 children, and she had come from France and then settled here in South America for some time, and she had raised her children with great difficulty, etc., etc. Then after the session was over, counseling session was over, he said that I will not be seeing you tomorrow because I'm going out. So she just asked him, "Doc, where are you going tomorrow?" Out of just generally. So he said, "I'm going to watch an opera." So she said, "What opera are you going to watch?" So he said, "The Swan Lake." It's a very famous opera. "And I will be late, so tomorrow I will not be seeing you." So when he said the Swan Lake, see how a therapist has to be. Very observant, catching subtle things. When he said the Swan Lake, this woman's eyes lit up. And he wondered why her eyes lit up. You know, there was a spark like. So he said, "The Swan Lake, does that mean something to you?" So she said, "When I was a child, I had watched the Swan Lake and I loved it. At that time, she had this radiance on her face." He left and he went and he saw the opera. One of the opera dancers, who was the main lead, was his friend. So he told her, "I have a patient and I found her eyes lighting up when I said the Swan Lake. Would you mind coming and meeting her?" So she said, "Of course, I'd love to." That lady said. So the next day, when he went to meet her, he said that, "I have Mary," her name was Mary. "Mary, I have asked the Swan Lake dancer to come and meet you tomorrow. Is it okay?" He said, "I love it." So the next day, this dancer comes and he introduces Mary to this dancer, and he says he leaves them together to talk. And after that, he goes in after an hour, he's watching, they're still talking, so he goes away. After 1 hour, again he goes, they're still talking, he goes away. He's wondering how much this patient has to talk about opera and Swan Lake, because the history that he had taken did not have anything like this. her interest, hobby, anything like that. After some time he goes in and he says, I think she should leave. This dancer comes out and she tells the doctor, Lesha, you know, doctor, she knows more about opera than I do. Wow. So Lesha starts thinking, how she knows more about opera than the dancer? Then he goes in and speaks to Mary, and she can't stop talking about the opera. When she was small and, everything, the opera memories just kept coming to her. And then she told him that I used to prepare a scrapbook in which I used to cut pictures of people who are doing opera and history of opera and all that stuff and stick it. So now Lesha has got a key to healing. And he calls the Mary's son and he says, your mother has had some scrapbooks, please find them. So these children, they go and they search and they find some 1 or 2 scrapbooks and they get it back and it's all torn and tattered. After that time, she's never really had the time to cut pictures. So Lesha, this is a true thing, true story. The Lesha gets for her papers and crayons and felt pens and old newspapers and he says, Mary, you are going to write a book on opera. And Mary was supposed to die in 6 weeks. She lived for 8 years. So, what is the story telling us? The case telling us that when your deep desire is accessed, is brought out, nothing can stop life. So these are some beautiful, you must read, it's a fantastic chronology of cases that he's written and the insights that he has developed through his work. I will definitely send Gayatri the name of the book and you all can have, access that book. It's a beautiful, some of those cases just can't leave you. They're so powerful. So the physical body is accessed last by the disease, remember. The mental body is accessed first. Or the disturbance that happens in your sukshma body is accessed. I'm feeling disturbed, some people will come and tell you. पता नहीं कुछ ठीक नहीं लग रहा है. Thoughts भी नहीं है अभी तक. Thoughts भी नहीं है, just मुझे ठीक नहीं लग रहा है. That is also one way of accessing. Now in the physical body, we have dreams every night. Yes. अगर आपके dreams खाने के हैं, पार्टी में गया हूँ, खाना खा रहा हूँ, सोने के हैं, सो रहा हूँ, अगर इस तरह के physiological dreams है, sexual dreams है, okay, then they are coming from the physical body. You are so ingrained in your physical body. आप physical body के बारे में ही सोचते हो. I'm at the beauty parlor. These are physiological dreams. It's about the physical body. Such patients make bad hypnotic subjects. Because वो physical body से दूर जा ही नहीं पा रहे. वो physical body में ही है. Physical body के बारे में ही सोचते रहते हैं. So if you tell them to imagine, they can't imagine. Have you noticed this? Yes. उनको बोला imagine. बोले क्या imagine करूँ? Imagine नहीं कर सकता. खाने के बारे में imagine कर सकता हूँ. पर मैं पक्षी के बारे में, पेड़ों के बारे में उड़ रहा हूँ, ये मैं imagine नहीं कर सकता. है ना? So ये difficult hypnotic subjects होता है. So उनके लिए imagination भी physical होना चाहिए. Correct ना? So understand the physical body is also important in our work. Sometimes इस तरह के subjects भी हमारे पास आ सकते हैं. Etheric body, we are all aware of the etheric body. Floating, watching this body from the top. Okay, that's the etheric body, as the picture is indicating to you. We know that after death, 13 days, The etheric body surrounds it, roams around. Dream travel is encoded in the etheric body. Okay? Now, in this body, we can travel in space but not in time. We can't go back and forth in time. We can travel in space. We can move out and travel in space, away from the physical body. But we can't move in our past life or in our future lives. Okay? The look is like condensed smoke. That is why many people will tell you, I saw a spirit. Spirit will appear in condensed smoke, like smoky. That's because of the etheric body. Then we have the astral body. What happens in the astral body? We can travel back in time. हिंदी में उसको कहते हैं तारकीय शरीर, पूर्व जन्म में तारकीय शरीर में हम, बिकॉज वो मेमोरीज उस बॉडी में कोडेड है, उस बॉडी में फिक्स्ड है. In the astral body we experience heaviness. When our consciousness, हमारी चेतना astral body में जाती है, we will feel heavy. How many of you feel heavy when we do a session? Many of you feel heavy, no? In your body. You can't move it because your consciousness has entered the astral body. People who feel heavy in a hypnotic session can access a past life, because that is where the memories are coded. Okay? Then we have the mental body. Mental body is wall-less. Our thoughts don't need any walls. They can travel anywhere. Correct? They can break through walls. They have no barrier of time, space. सब कुछ तोड़ सकते हैं हमारे thoughts. No boundaries at all. No obstacles. And this is where we can travel back and probable future. Because there are no walls. It's wall-less. That is why. You can penetrate even somebody else's future. Amazing, no? Not your, forget yours, somebody else's future. Then we have a